Sales pages and sales visitors, right? One thing you can do to increase your conversions, simplify your copy, right? Just simplify it. What you're going to find when you're doing your own copy, whether it's for landing pages or bonus pages or whatever the case is, you're probably going to put too much content in the various elements of your copy, right? It's human nature. You have to go back through and you got to look at your copy, whatever it is you're writing. Every single word and every single image ought to have a purpose of getting the buyer to convert. Right? So if you just got extra stuff in there, you have a lot of extra words, cut them out. Right? The number of words in your headline is not going to be as important as the immediate impact of the statement. So in other words, if you look at your headline, is it impacting you? Don't try to write something just to have a bunch of words in there, or even so it appears like a headline. Right? The appearance is not as important as making sure that headline has some impact. Your sales video. Doesn't matter how long it is, right? That's not important. What's important is that it transforms people from where they were to where they're going to be, right? And even if you're going to have images, right? You don't have to have a bunch of images, but if you decide to use images, they ought to show the right person in the goal position, right? The right person. So if you know most of the people who are buying from you, they're going to be 50 somethings, or they're going to be working women, that, hey, you know what? Your images ought to reflect that. Whoever it is, right? Whoever it is that buys from you, your image, if you're going to have them in there, in some cases, you ought not to have any images. And definitely you don't want to have people in there. But if you're going to have people, make sure that those people show your target market in the goal position. So it's not enough to just show people in the goal position. And we've all seen that where, you'll get to a page and everybody's smiling, or they've got their arms raised up and it looks like, they're having a great time, big smile on their face, money in their hands. That's cool. But you know what's cooler? If they look like me, if I can relate to them, if I can see myself in them, because if I can't, then it's going to look cheesy. Right? That's why sometimes when you go to a page and you see people and they look cheesy, it's not necessarily because what they're doing is cheesy. It's because you cannot see yourself in them. You can't see yourself doing the gestures they're doing. You can't see yourself at the beach or the pool or whatever it is that you're doing. You got to be able to see yourself in the images, or you've got to be able to see your target market in the images if you're going to put them in there. Otherwise, don't put them in there. Right? They don't have to be in there. Simplify by taking them out of there if they're not going to lend themselves to making people buy your stuff. Now, and this is just as an aside. If it's not funny, don't put it in. If you're generally funny and people find you funny, find your stuff funny, you don't have to make your copy funny. Not everybody can do that, right? Some people are funny in real life, and their copy is funny. Other people are just not funny, and you don't have to try to be witty if that's not you. You don't have to try to sound witty if that's not you. Again, that's not necessary. You want to simplify your copy, because you know what happens is sometimes if you try to be funny and you're not really funny generally, what happens is the copy gets confused because nobody really fully understands your humor. And so I'm not saying don't try to put humor in there, but in general, don't try to shoehorn humor into something if you're not really funny in general. Right now, for social media users, increase your follow-up. What do I mean by that? I'm not talking about retargeting necessarily. I'm saying that, let's say you've got some kind of active presence or a group. You've got to find different ways of reminding people you've got stuff available, right? So let's say you've already posted. If you've got video out there on your product, repurpose it into your social media, right? All the time. Now, again, I understand organic reach is something like 2%, but that's still 2% you're not going to get if you don't repurpose your content into your social media. So again, social media is not going to replace your list. It should though enhance your list by following up on social media. If you've got email, repurpose that email content into your social media. Repurpose your videos into social media. Repurpose your audio into social media. If you're going to be doing webinars or live stream, do a webinar or live stream just on social media. right? You can do a Facebook Live. You can share your screen. You can do all that stuff. Again, all that stuff it does is what you're doing is you're following up. I'm not saying it's going to take the place of your other promotions. I'm saying that it's follow up though. And what you're doing is you're cleaning up all those areas you may have missed. And again, what I like to do, you don't have to call it like a webinar or a live stream or a Facebook Live. Call it a Q&A, right? Call it something so that it sounds something like something people are going to get something out of. That might sound like a minor thing, but it really is a major thing. It's psychological, right? Do I have to come to a Facebook Live? No. Might I want to come to a Q&A? Yes, because that's about me. A Facebook Live is about you, right? A live stream is about you. A Q&A, that's about me. I'll come to your thing, right? So again, minor change, but think about the language you're using. If you're going to have something, but let's say even if you call it a live stream or an FB Live, as long as you're following up on social media, it's good. If you have a regular training, mention it in social media, right? It can also be the subject of its own webinar. So what do I mean by that? If you're working on the problem that you're solving in your product, that can be the subject of your live stream, right? That can be the subject of your Q&A. The subject, you're trying to figure out what am I going to be talking about? If you're trying to make sure you're increasing conversions, well, you talk about the problem. You talk about the problem that people are having, and you talk about the problem that your product is solving. Now,